Harbaugh now heads to the Los Angeles Chargers.
He wins everywhere. He wins, period.
Justin Herbert, he's a crown jewel.
Well, you guys better enjoy this.
Quick snap, Herbert to throw. Has a man, touchdown!
The fans loved it.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin.
Herbert on the move and throws and touchdown.
I was just trying to show off.
We're going to be known as world champions. And we're going to do it or die trying. Don't let the powder blues fool you.
Who's got it better than that?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wolldog, sitting with my buddy, Kyle the Coach Duggan.
That doesn't feel right.
It's weird.
That felt
you are
weird
my buddy.
The first guy. Yeah,
but
I am.
It's,
just usually your second buddy.
It's off, yeah. Sadly, folks, Kevin decided to wave his wand around in Florida. Don't take that out of context, but he's in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Drinking butter beers, and he's got 4 boys running around, I'm sure, hopped up on chocolate frogs and God knows what else. So
a much deserved family vacation.
Yeah, for sure. Family. Yeah, it's about to get hot and heavy for Kevin here in the upcoming future. So give him this, okay?
And he also went to the first 2 Charger games.
Yeah,
and left the fam home.
Poor boy. He was there for 2 wins and wasn't there for this one. So
I didn't think about that. This might be on you guys.
I know, dude. There's a lot of like suspicious thoughts running through my head that like, is it because I trimmed my beard? Did I not wear the right attire? Like, what did I do wrong? But
we're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We are so back. Lots to talk about, folks. We've got an Askboltfam and a special segment that we didn't expect to have for this episode because they said that they weren't going to, but there is a Brisket Abroad lined up for you folks for this week. So let's waste no time. Start at the top. This game, man. First half, solid.
Felt good.
Looked great. Defense was playing great. We had 2
swarming,
sacks,
hitting
tackles
people
for
hard.
loss. Yeah, dude, defense was playing so hard. And God love Justin Herbert getting a touchdown to Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston, I think I saw, was like one of the top receivers right now as far as touchdowns are concerned in the league.
Yeah.
My God.
He's the man, dude. Yeah. He's what we were hoping he would be last year. He just needed a little bit of time.
Just needed a year.
Yeah.
Just needed to bake a little more.
Needed to warm up. Yeah. He was a preemie.
Yeah. But second half came and all hopes were dashed. Everything just crumbled. I mean, literally crumbled. I mean, Justin Herbert first hobbles off, and then you hear about Joey Bosa actually in the first half.
Yeah, Joey Bosa was
the first Lego to fall, or the first domino, I guess. Lego domino. First domino to fall, dealing with his hip issue that he was kind of been working with. It's been back, it's been hip, it's been all in that general area. So he had to leave, and then Justin Herbert hobbles off, and it just the one thing you did not want to see in this game. And then also you see Rashawn Slater not lining up, and then you hear Joe Alt is sitting on the sideline as well. It's like, God almighty, what happened?
I know. I'm okay losing a game. Like,
Absolutely.
it's I don't want to lose a game, but it feels like some hope is being stolen now with all of these injuries piling up so fast. Now, we've been pretty free and clear, and as long as none of these guys go IR, it's not sound the alarm right now.
Exactly.
But it just felt so good being not a part of that. What is going on with all these injuries? Like, my fantasy football team right now is insane. Christian McCaffrey hasn't played a single game.
Yes,
it's just like, so I was like, wow, we're avoiding all of that.
I've got Christian McCaffrey, Puka Nacua, and Keenan Allen. None of them are playing right now. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. But yeah, we knew that these next 2 games are going to be really tough games, and our only hope and prayer was to at least walk out of this a healthy team, win or loss. Just walk out a healthy team, and you lose your first 2 starting tackles, quarterback, our best edge rusher, arguably, and it's just, what are we going to do? So all we can do is hope and pray. And the one real saving grace, comparatively to at least some of the previous years, is you've got Jim Harbaugh, Jesse Minter, and Greg Roman that are leading this team, and you know that these are competent guys that can scheme accordingly, that can come up with a game plan, and that can figure out how to cover up some of the deficiencies of this team.
So everyone's kind of the sky is falling type of deal, and that's what it's been in the past. You know, like when you have one or two key guy go down, it's you can't recover. I think this is an awesome opportunity to see how good our coaches are. When you have guys go down, yeah, you have to game plan differently, but it's going to be now it gets even nastier. Like now you're really running the ball, controlling the clock, like trying to hold on to that ball as long as you can, because you go to being the underdog right away, especially if it sounds like Joe Alt's going to be out a couple of weeks with the sprained MCL.
Right.
And then you never want to hear anything pectoral related with Slater because it tore that a couple of years ago.
Right.
And then in all honesty, with Justin Herbert's ankle, I think this is an opportunity to shut him down for 2 weeks and let him actually really heal up. I don't want him out there without Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater on a bum ankle. So the game plan gets really, really nasty, really, really fast. It's just we're gonna lean on JK and Gus and try to get 3 yards in a cloud of dust every single play. But it changes. So hopefully we have an opportunity now to see how good this coaching staff really is and what kind of adjustments that they can make to put us in the best positions to win. Because that second half, you're thrust into a on the fly. You've now lost everybody. People are getting hurt left and right. It's hard to make those big time adjustments right then. And you don't have Taylor Heineke for preparation to game plan around. Now you have potentially a new quarterback this week. Hopefully it's only 1 week. And you have a whole week to prepare for what he does well. And the man can run a little bit. Easton can run a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of more of those RPOs, read options, getting him out of the pocket, trying to throw. It's going to be an extremely different game plan, I hope, because that's a sign of good coaching, is they're able to kind of turn on a dime right away.
Yeah, this next game coming up is obviously a very important one, a division rival, and it's the freaking Chiefs of all teams.
I know. Of course it's the Chiefs.
Of course
they're just so freaking lucky. It's insane.
Yeah, and so there is some hope, at least with Heineke, because we did see a completion from Heineke to Ladd McConkey. That was a first down, so that was like, okay, something here. We can make this work. But it's going to be interesting to see what that ends up being against the Chiefs this upcoming Sunday. Some of the good things that did come out of this, like I said, defense was playing out of their mind in the first half. And, you know, the Steelers now are the top team with the fewest points allowed this season. Vikings are right behind them. And then still holding strong for our defense is the Chargers with 33 points allowed this season. So defense is still doing good like that. Thank God it was only Joey Bosa that had that issue. I mean, we've still got a lot of guys on that side of the ball that can really help. And if anything, we've seen Chiefs haven't been playing great against strong defenses. So if anything, the Chargers can come in and at least impose their will defensively against the Chiefs coming up.
Yeah, and I think we saw at the end of that game, you just can't be on the field the whole time. Like these guys are going to get tired, especially when it's a team like the Steelers that run the ball really physically, and their offensive line, they're just drafted to be run blockers. And when they lean on you long enough and you don't get off the field and your offense is going 3 and out, you get tired. And that's what you saw in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was a sign of our defense is no longer good. It's just a sign of our offense has to be complementary. You have to be able to hold the ball a little bit to give those guys some breaks.
Absolutely. And if they would have just shored up some of those penalties, man, there was that one drive they gave up like 70 yards on penalties.
Yeah.
That drive could have been put to bed a long time ago. And it just really inopportune penalties. So if they can shore that up, we've seen that they can do that. And if they just keep the penalties to an absolute minimum, then sky's the limit for that defense. And it's just gonna make for a very exciting Sunday with an unknown offense against a proven or with a proven defense going up against the Chiefs. Talking about the injuries, like we said, Joey Bosa, it was his hip, got ruled out against the Steelers, and then Justin Herbert had his ankle, Rashawn Slater with the pectoral, and it's just like, God. Herbert did get additional x-rays done after the game, and they were waiting on results, but I did see that they did come back negative. That's
So nothing broken.
Sign.
That's
nothing
good.
broken.
No ligament damage. Just that same sprain.
And like Kyle said, Joe Alt is dealing with an MCL. It's a strains trains and automobiles.
Sprains, yeah.
So said he at the very least he said he learned a lot facing up against TJ Watt, and that was the great thing. I mean, Joe Alt was going up against TJ Watt, and for at least the first 3 quarters was doing a phenomenal job. Yeah, going up against TJ Watt, and obviously in the fourth, you know, you can only do so much at a certain point, and the dam eventually broke. The other thing that occurred today, just before we were recording this podcast, apparently we're also going to be down Derwin James, as it stands right now, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. He has been suspended without pay for 1 game for repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect the health and safety of players, including during the Sunday's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this is ridiculous. This is the Chiefs getting a little extra, hey, good luck. Like, you're welcome going into Charger week. Yeah. You know, like, that's Derwin's hit was on a guy carrying the football. It wasn't a defenseless player. It wasn't a quarterback. It was a gigantic tight end running straight at him. Right. And he just laid him out. Like, I guess you could say he led with his head, kind of, but the brunt of the force came from his shoulder pad. I don't know. I think that's incredibly soft to suspend a guy for doing it. Now, he does have a history, and that's why all eyes are on him, because last year he had several personal foul penalties that they were reckless. He led with his head. They were defenseless receivers. Yeah. I get all of that. But this was not. This was a tight end running with the ball down the field, and Derwin just got the better of him. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else he could have done other than like
tackle his legs
lower. Just go for the legs, sweep the leg, Johnny. So I don't know. He is going to appeal it. So we'll see if that ends up being anything. I mean, he's only got a week to figure that out. So I don't know how quickly the NFL will work with him on that, but it's just baffling to see a guy get suspended so quickly without not necessarily any warning, without necessarily finding out like, oh, okay, well, once you had your 8th, personal foul, leading with your head or whatever, that's when you're going to get suspended. Like, there's just no clear rule when it comes to suspensions, especially like a 1-game suspension. And especially when you see guys that have had off-field issues during this last off season. Yeah. No penalties have been handed out. No. So it's just like, it's a very willy-nilly wild, wild west when it comes to the NFL. And it's just sad to see that it happens to a guy who's really just trying to play with as much heart as he possibly can. Yeah. Like, he's not trying to hurt people. He's just trying to play the best football that he possibly can. And so we'll see what happens with the appeal. It's out of our hands. And
so dumb. You're welcome, Chiefs, from the NFL.
Looking at some of the quotes from this last game, Harbaugh on the team performance said, "Not every game is going to be a fairy tale ending. I thought they were fighting the whole time. A lot of good football played, and then the fourth quarter wasn't our best."
Amen to that, brother. Wasn't our best.
Truer words were never spoken. Which really is kind of the opposite of what we were at least expecting with this kind of a team to, chip away. But obviously, when injuries happen, what else can you do? Like, you're playing with guys that weren't necessarily expecting to play or having to be put into positions they weren't necessarily expecting to be in, short of an injury happening. And so it's frustrating to see, but it is what it is.
And the Steelers do the same thing. They were chipping away at us all first half.
Exactly.
It was the same game plan. We just got hurt and tired.
Who was going to get injured first?
Yeah, and that's what happened. Unfortunately, it was us. We dropped. I saw a graphic. 4 first-round picks went down in Sunday's game. It felt like it was boom, 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 boom. It was like one right after the other, series. You have guys going down. So
that's crazy when you put it like that.
I know. 4 first-round picks is tough.
Sheesh. Yeah. Some other quotes from Herbert on re-aggravating his injury said, "I did everything I could to go back out there. Just didn't feel like I could move around or really push off with it. My responsibility as the quarterback is to give everything I can to this team, my teammates. I felt like I did that. I pushed myself, but couldn't go anymore. I had a tough time walking on it, moving on it, pushing off of it. I knew Taylor gave us a better shot to win." Added later that he noted he's hopeful to play next week.
He's setting up a heroic opportunity here. Because nothing in me says he should play. If Alt and Slater aren't playing, there's just why? You're already hurt. You have a bye week next week. It's so early in the season. I know it's the Chiefs, and believe me, I want to beat the Chiefs more than anything. But it feels like everything's pointing to like, dude, don't do this. And he's just going to be like, I'm doing it. You know, like I'm doing this.
Don't stop.
But he's setting it up to come in and be the hero and throw for 400 yards, go full Andy Dalton on the Chiefs.
God. Trust me, nobody would want him to go out there more than all of the fans. Everybody wants Justin Herbert to be out there. But you need to be healthy. And two, you need to be protected by healthy tackles that are, it's first round tackles. And if they're not going to be out there, man, like, I'm not saying I want Taylor Heineke to be tossed to the wolves by any stretch, but
no,
I mean, listen, I guess
better him than Justin.
Yeah, that's how it goes. It was interesting to see too that Heineke was the one that went out there. You know, they dressed all three quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Easton Stick was the guy that was in the preseason, and for everything leading up to this game,
he was the only active one.
Well, and it was the talk that like Stick's the guy. And then I saw in the post-game presser, Harbaugh said that like, you know, it was leaning towards Stick. They were sharing reps, but then started to see a little bit more out of Heineke, and so they kind of gave it more to Heineke, and that ended up being the guy that came in to replace Herbert. And you know, a sigh of relief from all the fans to see Heineke be the one to go out there and not Easton Stick. Love Easton Stick. Wish nothing but the best for him. But we've seen a lot of proven success out of Heineke, and so there is some level of comfort to know that that could be the guy that's going to be playing on Sunday. That somebody that has been there, knows how to do it, and was at least connecting with some of the receivers after Justin Herbert had to step out. One more quote here on Harbaugh on Herbert said, I knew Justin wasn't going to take himself out. I told him that Saturday. The plan was Taylor was going to go in. We were doing a good job there in the first half. Justin had a heck of a half. He's a beast, but that wasn't ever going to be his decision to play today or stay in. Every time I think there's not another rung on the ladder that he can go on my esteem, he climbs another one. His esteem ladder. Justin can't stop. He's pulling on every rung.
It's like Mary Poppins' purse. There's just never-ending ladder rings.
That's how it is for Justin.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, it keeps going and going.
It's just a spoonful of sugar, Coach. Just take it, like it.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yeah, no, he's obviously he's a warrior. We know that, and we know that he's a guy that will always, you know, put others before himself, but he will practically throw his body, and we've seen him do that in previous years. Ribs, fingers. There's nothing that will stop this guy from wanting to go out there and play for this team, and we love that for him. But listen, we got a bye week coming up. We can work on this. Let's get you closer to healthy than put you in harm's way.
Oh my gosh, hang on one sec. This one game, okay, so you know how they get a game check. It's the portion of their salary for each game. How much do you think this one game missed is going to cost Derwin James?
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
he's like the highest paid safety, or at least he was at one point in time.
So how much do you think he gets paid for every game?
If they break it up by game, I'm going to say, it's like, I'm going to say $5 million.
Each game. So one game is $708,000 it's going to cost him.
Wow.
Because he gets paid. So he's signed a 5-year, $85 million contract.
Okay.
It's $13 million a year. So it's almost $1 million a game. $700,000 is his fine for these hits.
That's a house.
That's not a $15,000 fine. That's almost $1 million he's being fined.
Wow.
That's insane. Yeah, he better.
I wasn't sure if they broke it up like the paychecks are by game or by. I don't know if these guys get paid every other week. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. No, he gets paid $700,000 a game. That's insanity. Wow. He doesn't get a dime because of the suspension.
Jesus,
that's too much.
That's a lot.
Find him $50,000. Find him something that's a lot, but $700,000.
That's a lot.
What's Chef Ortiz going to do with all that extra money? That's a whole player's salary for a year.
He's going to sign another player, and we just saw today as well, the Chargers are signing wide receiver Jalen Reagor to the practice squad with the likelihood that he will be elevated to the active roster. So I don't know what that indicates. I don't know.
That's $700,000 right there.
He's like, oh, finally, get me Reagor on the phone quick. No, I think, because I don't know. We saw Palmer was sidelined this last game as well. Chark has been on IR, but we hope to see him back after the bye week. So I don't know if this is just insurance or what, but I mean, we certainly can't seem to get more wide receivers because we got to see a little bit of Simi Fehoko. There was some hope that we might see Brendan Rice this last game as well because he suited up as well, but we didn't necessarily see any of that. So we'll see what ends up being the case with Mr. Reagor, but we can assure that he is healthy and ready to go. And you could also be healthy and ready to go if you go on over to our sponsor this week, Chris Gates Fitness, and his online fitness training camp. Chris is an online fitness coach. He's a massive football fan, and he's created a fitness community designed specifically for football fans just like you and me. If you're ready to elevate your health and fitness goals and do it with a group of like-minded people to support and encourage each other, you have to check this out. I'm telling you, folks, encouragement from friends is a huge part of gaining those fitness goals, achieving those fitness goals. And so to have something like this is really, you couldn't ask for anything more out of Chris Gates. Customized monthly workout programs will help you build muscle, burn fat, and feel more athletic. And access to live Q&As with Chris, exclusive community support, and more will help hold you accountable and work you towards your goals. Training camp members also compete in fitness training challenges each month, as well as sports challenges like weekly football pick'em in the fall, where Chris gives out free prizes like home gym equipment, supplements, free one-on-one coaching calls, and more. And if you join this week and use the code ChargerChat, you'll get 80% off your first month. That's just $10. Don't miss out. Visit chrisgatesfitness.com/ChargerChat. And there's a link in the description, and start your journey today. And then we've also got another sponsor here, folks, Underdog Fantasy. It's the greatest time of year again. Football is back, and it's here to stay till February. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog. Win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite players' stats like touchdowns, passing yards, and more. Now this week, there's been a lot of weird things happening. We just saw the Commanders beat the Bengals.
The Bengals are getting beat by everybody.
The Bengals are 0-3. So I'm hoping. Did we make any Bengals picks this week?
I got scared. I'm not gonna lie. No picks this weekend. I got too scared. I'm 0 for. I got too scared. But I'll tell you what. There's one pick this upcoming week. Patrick Mahomes, 259.5 passing yards. We're hitting that lower hard.
Under.
That's our pick of the week.
Under.
Yeah. Come on, 260 yards, Patrick.
No, not this week.
Our defense is shutting that down.
Not happening. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code CCHAT, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code CCHAT, to claim your new customer special of a free pick, and your deposit offer must be 18 or over 21 from Massachusetts and Arizona, over 19 for Alabama and New England, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. And after you're making those picks, folks, you can head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/ChargerChat. And as always, we need to shout out our new Patreon members. And this week's, it is Justin Bedard. Thank you, Justin, for joining the Patreon. Greatly appreciate it. Lots of fun stuff. Yeah, God, and we got a hangout coming out this weekend with our special 10s. Really looking forward to that. But if you don't want to go over to patreon.com/ChargerChat, it's totally fine. You can go on over to our regular website, chargerchat.com. Check out all the cool stuff we got over there. T-shirts, hoodies, and stickers. You can chat it up with other Charger Chatteteers in the members section and ask questions and Askboltfam. So go check out chargerchat.com. All right, folks. Last week they said they're not going to Pittsburgh. There's not going to be a Brisket Abroad. Then they text us. They're like, guess what? We got a Brisket Abroad for you. So, folks, it's time to turn it over to Brisket Abroad.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Well, there's no place they wouldn't try to hang out with Justin and his squad. Get ready to hear their positive thoughts. It's time for Brisket Abroad.
Hi, guys.
Did you think that there wasn't going to be a Brisket Abroads?
Just because we didn't go?
Like, that's going to keep us from doing a Brisket Abroads. Death cannot stop true love. We couldn't be in Pittsburgh at the game. I'm in California. Mary is in
Connecticut.
Ew.
So we sent in our best reporters, undercover agents Karen Garcia and Eddie Garcia.
You revealed their identity.
Was I not supposed to?
You said our undercover.
Right. I'm gonna get killed. You all know Karen. Karen loves sports.
So Karen loves the Chargers, but Eddie loves the
Steelers.
Boo!
Stealing is bad.
Yeah, Eddie. And you stole this win from us.
We had it in the bag until you murdered half our team.
Oh, I think Karen's sending us stuff.
Oh, hot off the press.
Oh, yeah, she also sent us what the team store looks like. Ooh.
They need some powder blue in there.
So we're in the team store, and it's humongous. I can't even tell you how big this team store is. This place is massive.
It looks ugly. Yellow and black?
It's almost as bad as silver and black. Back to you, Karen.
Oh, a Chargers fan. Oh, there's some more. Bolt up. Bolt up. Bolt up.
Okay, what other? Ooh, that's cool. Ooh, they did such a good job. Ooh, there's Karen going inside.
There's a few Charger fans we're seeing. Not a lot. Oop, another one. Another one. Are you excited to be here?
Of course.
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
But Karen, let's show the people what they really want to see. Thanks, Karen. You get a raise. There's our cameraman, George.
Something also very exciting. Karen talked to Chargers chaplain George. She told him that she was the undercover Brisket A'Broads correspondent this week. So he said, let me hook you up. I'm going to get you some field footage. So this is actually a better Brisket A'Broads than even what you normally get, because we never get to go down on the field. I don't know why.
So here's what it looks like to be on the field.
Okay, Heather and Mary, this is Pastor George saying what's up from Pittsburgh. We miss you guys, but we know you are praying for us. Let's go, Bolt up. That's George. Hey, what's up?
Oh my gosh, that's freaking amazing. That's so cool.
That is so cool.
I feel like we were there.
Yeah.
Anyways, over to you, Karen.
What was everybody like that was there?
Ooh. Did you guys try any of the food?
Okay, so we just got some food. I hope you can hear me. We can't eat in the seats because it's so freaking hot. Eddie just got some pierogies. So Kyle, we're doing this for you.
Back to you, Eddie.
And then what happened?
We're videoing leaving. We got a video leaving.
I hope I did okay. I was a tiny bit nervous. Oh my gosh, Karen, you're the freaking best. You went above and beyond, and it's going to make so many people happy. Thank you for doing this. I'm telling you it right now. And then I'll also text it to you.
We love Karen loves sports.
We love Karen loves sports. Thank you, Karen. And thank you, Eddie.
Yeah.
And congratulations.
Do-do.
Winning is for losers, okay? Okay. And that's going to do it
on this episode of Brisket A'Broads.
Clap. Clap. Brisket.
Broads. Should you be saying clap?
Yeah. Duh.
All right. Maybe you could slap me and I go like that.
Oh, okay. Did that look real?
All right. Well, that's a different Brisket A'Broads that we don't normally see around here at Charger Chat.
Man, we got Eddie in there. I would have liked to see him happy, you know? Like, shoot us some, like, celebrations. Like, I don't want the Steelers to be happy, but I like Eddie. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Eddie's a great guy.
Yeah. I really wanted to see the Karen-Eddie interaction. Honestly, Eddie probably limited his celebration if he's a smart man.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do that to your wife. You're not terrible toweling with all your buddies while she's over there crying.
In her
Take that, babe.
Get a face washing with my terrible towel. No. Eddie's too good.
He wouldn't do that.
No. Looked like a nice stadium, but yeah, it's unfortunate not to walk away with a win. But thank you, Karen and Eddie, and you lovely ladies, for giving us a very different Brisket Abroad. Live vicariously through Karen, and looks like it was a great time at the very least. Pierogies. I would love to see that at a stadium.
It's a nice twist at the stadium. Yeah.
Yeah. I love me some pierogies. So
we have tacos. They got pierogies.
Hey.
Each his own.
Let's make some taco pierogies. Come on, Sophie.
Pierogi tacos.
Little tacos and pierogies.
Carne asada pierogi.
Come on. I'm in. Shut up and take my money. All right. Thank you guys for giving us an awesome Brisket Abroad. And now it's time to go on to the next segment, Askboltfam.
My favorite.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
Hi, guys. Go jam a thumb up his butthole. That's what you do. I wet myself in excitement. Oh, so hungry.
Your thoughts are like totally appreciated.
Catch you later, dude.
Okay, love you, boy.
That's right, folks. Time for Askboltfam. And we start at the top with Daryl, 21. And shout out to Andrew Gordon, BTSVU. But I'm going with Daryl on this one, who asked the question.
Oh, hey, guys. How's my peeps? First and foremost, ugly second half, yes. But we're going to take the optimistic road. Hoo-ha. we're heading home with perhaps a much-needed kick in the nuts, and we will bounce back. Hoo-ha. Now, on to Kansas City with a sideline of banged-up Warriors. We'll sit Harbaugh and Slater next week, and we'll see about Dalton Bosa. We'll go out there and play our hearts out and head into the bye week and rest up before the long stretch of our season. I, for one, refuse to listen to all the noise this week and would rather look at the future with excitement and hope. Hoo-ha. So, no question this week. Just wanted to check in and say hi and bolt up, guys. Can't wait for Tuesday's episode. And yes, FTR, they got 36 laid on the ass by Carolina. Love you, bye. Hoo-ha.
Well, you say there's no question, but I see a question mark asking how we're doing. And hey, we're hanging in there.
Okay.
We're doing okay.
Okay. I'm doing okay.
But yeah, dude, Raiders losing to Carolina.
Dude, and then their coach in the post game
too. Yeah.
Coach in the post game calling out players for making business decisions. And he goes, I think we might have to make some business decisions.
What do you think that means? I didn't quite get that.
They didn't want to get hurt. They were going easy, not trying to tackle, trying to be soft so they didn't get hurt. And so they just were kind of letting them beat them.
Whoa.
And his business decision is who he's going to cut.
Whoa.
Yeah. Things are not good over
getting dramatic
in, the Raider
in Vegas.
Nation.
Apparently what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas.
No, dude, we were talking about this last week after the win at Carolina. Everyone's like, oh, you beat Carolina, blah, blah, blah. I was like, in the past, we would have lost to Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, like that would have been a game where we had a big win week 1. We come out flat. We have to travel to the East Coast and we lose.
Yeah.
Just like or Vegas. I was going to say Oakland. Just like the Raiders did. They got a big win in Baltimore. And the next week they come out flat and they get smoked by Andy Dalton and the Panthers.
Yeah.
Like at least that's not what we did. You know, I know that was a tough loss, but that's a good team. We didn't lose to one of the worst teams in the league.
No, we lost to a 2-0 team that
and we were right there with the lead.
Football. Yeah.
We had a lead at the half and we had just guys go down. That's just going to happen in football. You get to play 17 games, thankfully. And the guys are going to get healed up. We're get going. This is a long, long season ahead. Stay that shamelessly positive, my guy.
That's right. There you go. Daryl 21 and Andrew Gordon, BTFU. Thank you guys for asking the question. Let's go now to House of Hayne, who asked the question. I'll say, we had it in the bag in the first half, but the refs and Cam Hayward changed that. We lost players faster than Texas chili paints the bowl. Burns you both times, son. I can take the loss when we lose properly, but not like this. Sad day. How bad are the injuries? Can't love you bye. Well, we know that Herbert's got negative x-rays. That's a plus. That means it's not quite so bad.
Yeah, I would say no one landed on IR, so the injuries are not that bad. Like they're dinged up, they got a little bit hurt, and now we have 2 weeks for them to heal. Thankfully, this early bye week seems to be a really good spot for us.
Boy, it is always like whenever we see that early bye week, it's just like, it's too early. Yeah, it's too early, and then it's like, oh God, thank God, we got that early bye week.
Let Ben Herbert get his hands on him in the bye week. You know,
time for Ben Herbert to earn that paycheck.
Yeah,
all right, Mr. Miyagi, time to wax on, wax off over here. I got 4 of them for you. Go to work. And so nobody being on IR is a great sign. Not hearing about any breaks, anything like that. We haven't really heard
season ending.
We haven't heard specific on Rashawn Slater's pectoral, and we haven't heard too many specifics on all other than it's a sprain or a strain. So that's a good sign. And hopefully, I don't know what the turnaround time is on those kind of healings, and I don't really even know what the specifics are on Bosa's injury.
Bosa scares me just because of his injury history.
Yeah,
I mean he's already had a broken finger this year, and now this comes up after the last couple of years. Bosa's the one that scares me a little bit. That like, how many body parts are you going to hurt in 3 weeks?
Right.
You know?
And so Bosa scares me, but I'm at least thankful for the depth that we have at that position.
Yeah,
having Thule and Bud Dupree there is a huge sigh of relief. And then also Morris Brash can also come in. And we saw some sparks from him in the preseason as well. So we'll see how it all goes there, House of Hayne. But thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Marco DeLeo. And shout out to BTFU Chargers guy, baby, and 805 Bolt Dan. Go with Marco on this one, who asked the question. Hey, guys, I'm freaking out, guys. How concerned are we with these injuries? And if Herbert is out for any time, how are we feeling with the mediocre QBs we have? Or what the hell is up with the refs on all the Kansas City games? How does any team have a chance when refs are in their pocket? All right. A lot going on there, Marco, but let's take it one at a time here. How concerned are we with the injuries?
I think it's too soon now. We're recording on Monday night. Like I don't know if we have enough details and info to know the extent of like how long they're going to be out. But I don't know. I'm not like freaking out. I have not hit the panic button. I'm not terrified. I think for this 1 week, if you're just thinking about the Kansas City game, yeah, I'm worried about this week. I think our chances of winning this game are not as high as they once were. Mm-hmm. But for the totality of the season, having a successful season, I'm not worried because none of them are on IR. Right. Knock on wood, they don't pop on there tomorrow.
Yeah.
But they're not on IR, and we have a bye week. So I think in the grand scheme of things, to get banged up right now and have some time to get healthy, it's okay. It sucks. You have to you're not going to ever just not try to win a game, but you're not going to have your best foot forward in the Kansas City game. But to happen right now, as opposed to week 17, you're already in the playoffs, and now you're down going into the playoffs. I would prefer it week 3.
There you go. I love that. And I really did like the way that you phrased that, this is going to be kind of an exciting game to watch based off of how the coaching, schemes for this Kansas City team. I'm actually really excited now to see what ends up happening with that. As far as like the mediocre QBs, dude, he's been there, dude. I'm seeing a lot of like clips of some of his previous games where, pocket collapsing around him. He's running out of the pocket, running into the end zone for a touchdown. Like, guy can scoot. And he also just has like a mean look. When he went out there, he's just like, he's mean mugging like everybody within a 5-mile radius. So I'm excited to see what Heineke can do with this team, especially, I'm not trying to knock Easton Stick, but we've seen what Easton Stick can do. We haven't necessarily seen what Heineke does when it's his team to lead. So I'm curious to see what that ends up being with Heineke at the helm.
And you never know. Maybe us being down so many guys, the refs flip it and they go, "Oh, poor Chargers!
Come on, they're broken.
Yeah, we can't throw extra flags on them. Come on, just let that one go.
Come on, give them this one, please. We'll be a friend."
So maybe it'll work to our advantage.
And yeah, dude, it's crazy that the first 3 games that the Kansas City Chiefs have had this season have all gone down to the wire, and have all gone down to ticky-tacky penalties that ends up giving them either good field position or, stops the other team from getting a first down or something like that. It's just wild that's how it's been going for the Chiefs. It's just, that's their identity, that they get bailed out. Like, there's no other way to put it for them.
They all know it. All the players are like, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't freak out. They're going to give us something and we'll be in this game. So they never feel out of it.
The refs have something special lined up for us, guys. Just hang in there. It's okay.
Out, guys. Yeah,
he's going for his flag. Yeah. So it's crazy to see that's what happens with the Chiefs, and crazy that we're all just watching it and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just happening. So hopefully they take pity on us this upcoming Sunday, and we'll see what happens. Marco, BTFU Chargers guy, baby, and 805 Bolt Dan, thank you guys for asking the question. Let's move on now to Manuelito Pedito, who asked the question.
What do y'all think of resting the entire starters for this upcoming game? It'll give them a chance to have a 2-week bye. Plus, I doubt with Herbert out, we'll be able to beat the refs. I mean, the Chiefs.
Now, resting the entire starters or just the injured ones is the
this question. Feels like an entire starters kind of question. And my answer to that would be, do you know our head coach?
Yeah,
there's no way he's rolling over for any game. This man is the most competitive person I know.
Yeah.
You can't tell him just because you don't have Justin Herbert, you're not going to win. He'll spit in your face. So no, I don't think that we're just going to rest the whole starting offense and defense.
Yeah.
They're going to go out there and put the best guys on the field. But if we don't have Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, I do not want an injured Justin Herbert trying to suck it up and play.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's that one position. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
But all the other guys are going to be out there grinding. Yeah. Trying to get a dub. I mean, if the Chiefs don't score, they can't win. So if that defense goes out there and just pitches a shutout, we're in good shape.
The checks out. The math checks out. If they don't score, they can't win.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We figured it out, guys.
Heard it here first. Our Chat Podcast.
Call Jim Harbaugh. Yeah. So I think it's going to be, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a real tough game. We're going to be playing some men down, but I think we're going to see what kind of fight this team
just
has.
find a way to win. You just find a way to win. Special teams has a big play. Defense pitches a shutout, forces a couple turnovers. Offense, JK just turns it back on. Gus breaks out. You have Quentin going off, and you get. I mean, there's just so I'm not going to go into this game watching it like we're going to lose. In my head, I can't wait to see what Harbaugh and Mentor draw up to see us win this football game and shock the world. That's the way I go, because you go into it with everyone thinking there's no way they're going to win this. It's everything in front of us to go and take the W.
Exactly. There you go, Manuelito Pedito. Thank you for asking the question. Moving on now to Gavin Gibson, who asked the question.
Do you see Slater, Bosa, and Herbert playing next week against the Chiefs? Or do you think that they'll get a rest next week into the bye? If they do play, could they be on a play count to ensure they don't get further injury? Ben Herbert needs to work his magic on them all. I want to finish this with a positive note. Well, for the Duggan boys anyways, sorry, Wolldog. You were both right with your prediction. My newest Bolt babies are 2 boys. Now just need to convince my wife to let me get them Charger merch to start them off early as diehards. As always, guys, bolt up. Let's crush the Chiefs next week. K, love you, bye.
Gavin, congratulations.
Congrats, Gavin.
2 twin boys. You guys were right. You predicted it right. That was a good bold prediction.
Yeah, well, that's the only one I've ever gotten right. So
it's the only world you know.
Yeah. All I know is boy babies.
Boys.
I can't even imagine a girl baby. So that was the only prediction I had.
All right, way to knock it out of the park there, Gavin. And yeah, as far as resting our guys, absolutely, totally agree that they should definitely rest. It just, like Kyle said, we're still at the start. This is only week 3 going into week 4, and then we get a bye.
Yep.
And then we've got a whole rest of the season to go.
Yeah,
and
you got 13 long consecutive weeks.
Yeah, without a rest. No bye weeks in that 13 weeks. So it's a good chance to get things right, get things back on track. Let Ben Herbert do what he's trained to do, what we're paying him to do. Let everybody, all the staff, let them do what they're supposed to do. There was that one quote from Harbaugh before the Steelers game where it was like, I'm going to be like Moses and die leaning on my staff. Yeah. So, I mean, the best thing about this is that we know the caliber of staff that Harbaugh has attracted to this team. The from everybody, just from like the quarterback coach, the wide receiver coach, all of these guys that want to be on this team and to coach these guys and get everybody as prepared as they possibly can. They're going to be put to the test this Sunday, and I'm excited to see what that ends up being for this team. For
sure.
So there you go, Gavin Gibson. Thank you, buddy, for asking the question. Let's move on now to OM Run, who asked the question.
Why is it always week 3? Why can't we get past week 3 without a disaster?
I don't know.
Maybe because you're putting bad juju out into the universe, OM Run.
Ooh.
Maybe you were thinking about this going into the game.
No.
No. Okay.
It is baffling that week 3 does seem to be, at least within recent years, a kind of cursed week. It makes me, now that you've drawn attention to it, I really haven't thought about it until you brought attention to it, OM Run. So now when week 3 comes around next year, I'm going to be a little more scared, and I'm going to be a little more worried, and I'm going to, smudge my apartment. Yeah, I'm going to bring some sage. I'm going to do every cleansing I possibly can. I'm going to bring it to the stadium, smudge the stadium, and hope that it doesn't continue. And if it works, I'm going to do it again next year. So, it is baffling that it continues to happen. But at the very least, it's not so much a disaster as it is a speed bump. You know, this isn't something like Herbert breaking a finger on his throwing arm or something like that. Like that would be a disaster. That's something that would prohibit him from playing, you know, throughout the rest of the season or something like that. That would be a disaster. This, an unfortunate set of circumstances that will set us back. And, you know, it just sucks that we're going against the Chiefs. It's like, of course we're going against the Chiefs.
Of course
like,
it's the Chiefs.
Yeah. It's just, it couldn't have worked out any better for him. So, but hey, shit happens. OM Run, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Herbo Dog, who asked the question.
Can you talk about Bozeman's pass protection? What are your thoughts?
All right. Well, I don't necessarily know specifically about his pass protection. I have seen a lot of people around on Twitter and X criticizing some of his pass protection abilities. We did see a really weird, like, you know, the ball like kind of slipped through his fingers earlier on, kind of caused a fumble in the first half, which was not something you want to see out of your center. But I have seen some criticism, but I can't necessarily, you know, testify to, oh, well, here's your problem. Like, this is what he's doing wrong. Have you seen anything?
I haven't watched enough specific Bozeman tape looking at Pass Pro. I mean, maybe for a future Coach's Corner, we can look at one of those. But I would say a lot of teams know that our strength is on the edge, and so they're going to be bringing more exotic, tricky stuff, trying to bring it up the middle. So I think him and those guards are going to be facing the majority of what teams are trying to attack. And I mean, it's not as if we're allowing 4 or 5 sacks a game. Maybe he gets beat once here and there, and that's what everyone focuses on and throws the video up on social media. But it hasn't stuck out as like, oh crap, we have a real issue at center.
Right.
But again, like I said, I haven't watched enough specific Bozeman tape. Sorry, Herb Dog. But yeah, I feel a little bit like we lost one game and people are now trying to find the sole issue. It's Bozeman. Yeah. That feels a little bit like if people are running around social media kind of bagging on Bozeman. I didn't hear that 2 weeks ago. So I would say everyone has a bad game here and there. But I didn't stick out to me as like, that's the spot that we're having a lot of issues.
All right. Well, there you go. We'll definitely take a closer look at Bozeman's performance in the upcoming games. But thank you for the question there, Herbo Dog. Greatly appreciate it. Let's move it on now to Andrew Ramsey, who asked the question. What's up, amigos? All right, QJ, I owe you a big apology. I would sing you a song, but I think putting my lips on the ST part of your name on Kevin's Vapor Elite makes up for it. If the shirts were edible, I'd eat them and hope you gave me diverticulitis with how hard you travel through my insides. Ooh. Anywho, you know what gets my insides hard? The offensive line without Slater and Alton, just in general, the interior. Except for Zion, my man. He gets a pass from me. The weakness of our team is the depths of our line. Do you think this bye week and free agency period will be a 5-course meal cooked by Chef Ortiz there? This offense is non-existent when those guys go down, but just not good. Not good at all. Like -5 yards rushing in the second half? It's not good. What combo would you like to see next week against the Chiefs in our line? I wonder why the staff didn't keep Jamari at left tackle with a whole year of tape on him at that position and better than any time Pipkins ever played tackle. That was head-scratching to me. We are winning next week regardless. Kale loves you. Bye. All right. Well, glad to see you have come around, Andrew, on the QJ train. I think a lot of people have, which is great to see. I loved, I did see something that showed that he does look at social media. So, I mean, he does see the criticism online for sure. And so I'm glad that was something that did not take him down. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that they see something like that and they just crumble. And it's just like, well, nobody thinks highly of me at all, or everybody thinks I suck. So I guess I just suck now. But he was able to turn that around and make that, that fueled his fire. And so I'm glad to see that it has worked out for him. And to get 3 touchdowns, he's already got more touchdowns now than he did all last season. So I'm super happy for him, and I hope that trend continues for him. But regarding the line, it is an interesting thought that like we've looked at like our edge rushers, right? We're like, oh, we've got great depth there. You got Thule, you got Bud Dupree, you got Bosa, Mack, and then you got Morris Brash. Great depth there. Offensive line, not as good as depth.
Yeah, I think ideally for me, you keep the interior the way it is. Trey Pipkins is just not a tackle. He's just not. I love the idea that he's playing so much better at guard.
Mm-hmm.
It's great for the team, great for him and his future, but he's just not fast, quick enough to be a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
They just had guys speed rushing right around him on Sunday.
Right.
So he's just proven that that's not his position. And so you're going to take a dip at two different positions by moving him and bringing him someone else in at the guard. To me, you just leave the interior the way it is. And Jamari played great 2 years ago.
I know. It is
when Slater
surprising.
went down.
Yeah.
So like toss Jamari out at left, bring in Foster Sherrill at the right, and you hope you can coach him up well enough and give him enough help, because you can help out there. You can chip, you can put running backs, you can move the line one way or another, have running back pick up an edge with the tight end. When you're down in the interior, if you're making the guard weak too, it's just a tougher ass. So I would prefer to keep the interior the same, the guards and center, and then put Jamari at left. I know he's not a stereotypical left tackle,
right?
But the guy's just a warrior, and he did great for us 2 years ago at left tackle.
Yeah.
And then you bring in Foster Sherrill at right, and he's had enough action. Again, not incredible, not all league or anything, but hopefully you can get the job done with some help.
Yeah, agreed. And hopefully again, in Harbaugh we trust. We know that they're seeing more out of these guys than we ever do.
Right.
And so if they ever make a judgment of like, you know what, this is actually going to be the better work. Pipkins at tackle, Jamari at guard. Fine. You got to at least trust that these guys have an understanding. It's not like, oh, we never looked at the tape when Rashawn Slater went down.
We didn't know Jamari went.
Nobody told us.
Yeah.
Like they have to know that. And so whatever it is, there could be something recently that's happened that, you know what, maybe Jamari has taken a dip and he's not performing quite as well at that position as we saw when he came in, because he was a rookie when he came in and did that, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, maybe something has happened that Jamari's just not the guy to be able to play left tackle. So whoever they put in those positions, that's you got to trust that that's what the right move is. And we'll see. I mean, I'm curious to see again. I've been saying it. I've said it probably 10 times. I'm really curious to see what this team is going to do on Sunday.
Yeah. It's fun. It'll be fun to see.
It will be fun. Andrew Ramsey, thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Bolt Queen, who asked the question. If Alt and Slater miss some time, what free agency offensive tackles would you like to see Ortiz on the phone with this week? Because if Pipkins and Sorrell are at left tackle, right tackle, we might lose Taylor Heineke. So I don't necessarily have my finger on the pulse of the tackle community as far as free agents. I do have a list here, and I mean, there are names on here that I recognize, like DJ Humphries. I mean,
David Bakhtiari.
Yeah, Bakhtiari. But I mean, those guys were making 17-23 mil a year, and I don't know that we have that in the bank account to just go, oh yeah, but let's get a Band-Aid, a $17 million Band-Aid for
1 week.
Yeah. I mean, the one name that does pop on here that I at least recognize is Andrew Traynor, but I mean, I'm sure we let him go for whatever reason. So maybe, maybe get one of the Kansas City Chief recent free agents and just if for nothing else, info. just to talk to him for a bit and be like, hey, come here, tell me what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I think if Ortiz was that worried about O-line depth going into the season, he would have already addressed it.
Yeah,
like if there was a financial making sense, a need on the roster, it would have been addressed. I don't see for 1 week. I don't see us going. Now you may add someone in there just to have on depth, but it's probably a practice squad pull up. It's probably not a free agent bring in. It's pull somebody up from the practice squad for the week. Just break glass in case of emergency type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't see a big name free agent being picked up for 1 week when you have your two potentially all pro tackles that are just going to be, they're not IR injuries. They're just going to miss the week in the bye.
Right. I'm looking at our practice squad. I mean, I can't remember if we let Leatherwood go.
We did.
Yeah. So I mean, he's definitely not the answer. And that was the only tackle that we had. I mean, unless you wanted to bring in, Carson Barnhart, the Michigan guard, to come.
Well, you might bring up interior guys because like we've talked about, Trey, they like bumping out. Jamari can bump out. Foster Sherrill is a tackle.
Yeah.
So maybe you bring in another interior lineman to put on the roster for the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, as we mentioned, the depth isn't necessarily the best, but if that's what they think is the move, then got to trust. And there could very well be. I mean, we've seen Chef Ortiz. He's still making moves. That's the amazing thing is we're still seeing guys getting signed, like Jalen Reagor. Nobody saw that coming.
No.
So, I mean, we're still seeing a lot of mixing, and we could very well see before Sunday some calls being made. And we'll find out if that ends up being the case, Bolt Queen. But thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Athir Kadir. Athir.
Kadir.
That's the question. Chat. I love you all, my boys. Coach Kyle, always awesome. Kevin, my silly and good friend. Waldog, always my love and my heart, my life forever, baby. I have a great question, but first I want to say this. Coach Kyle, you're taking the defense. Kevin, you take the offense. And my baby Waldog, you are Coach Harbaugh. You have the right to accept or decline, baby. This is the question. Chargers lead 23-20. Chiefs ball at midfield, 3rd and 5, under 3 minutes. What do you call it, baby? Kevin, same situation, but it's the Chargers football at midfield, 3rd and 5. You need a first down to ice the game. What do you call it, baby? Wooldog, my love, has the final call as Coach Harbaugh. LOL. My bold prediction, Mahomes will have nightmares facing Minta's defense, baby. 5 sacks, 3 turnovers. Chargers beat the ass 38-17. Chiefs Kingdom suck my butt. Okay, love you. Bye, baby. All right. Well,
there.
A lot to take in there.
One question here.
Yeah.
Askboltfam is one question kind of deal. I think moving forward.
Well, it's one scenario, but just different facets.
Every aspect.
Looking at both sides. So let's all right. So Kyle, it's your defense. Yes. Chiefs have the ball midfield, 3rd and 5. What kind of a play are you calling?
There's just so many things that go into this as far as like personnel that they have on the field.
Sure.
But general overview and thought is you want to get the ball out quick. You don't want Mahomes to have time. So I would bring some kind of a pressure, and then shifting coverage to where Travis Kelce is. I know he hasn't had a huge season, but that's because people are bracketing him and taking him away. 3rd and 5, you don't want to give up 6 yards to Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
So I would bracket him with some kind of a press on the line, and then a safety if Derwin James is playing, picking him up after the press. But yeah, I'm bringing some kind of a pressure to try to force the ball out quick, because you want him to try to dump it. Our open field tackling has been great this season. I've been shocked at how well we've been tackling open field and swarming and not letting guys get extra yards. So just force him to get the ball out quick, and hopefully you get a hand up, or he dumps it into the backfield and we can rally up and make a tackle.
Beautiful. And if you were to think like Kevin on an offense, like if Chargers have the ball at midfield, 3rd and 5, I mean,
throw
Heineke's,
Kevin's mindset is just huck the ball down
Hail
there.
Mary, baby.
Justin, find Quentin Johnston in the end zone.
Yeah, that sounds like I would tell him no, we're not doing that play. I'm going to go with Kyle's on the defensive side for sure, but I mean, offensive side, 3rd and 5. I mean, Taylor Heineke is going to be the one under center, and RPO, run pass option. I think that's going to be the move on a lot of those kind of plays, and I'm curious to see how that works out with Heineke, if that ends up being the case. But 38-17, Athir, 5 sacks, 3 turnovers. I'm in.
3 touchdown win.
Come on, baby. I love it, Athir. Positive. Thank you for asking the question. And we go out of Askboltfam with Tony Francis, who asked the question. All right, listen up, soldiers. I can't sugarcoat this. We just walked off that field with our heads hanging low, and I'm furious. We didn't just lose a game. We lost several players. We lost Herbert, and we lost a chance at a perfect season. We had every chance to fight for every single yard, and what did we do? We let Justin motherfucking Fields throw for 250 yards against us. I saw half-hearted tackles, missed opportunities, and a lack of heart towards the end of that game that should never enter this locker room. You think this is just a game? This is about sweat, sacrifice, and brotherhood Jim built. I want you all to remember this feeling, this anger, this disappointment. The Chargers are going to use it and channel it into their whole week of practice. They owe it to themselves, to Jim Harbaugh, and most importantly, the Chargers diehards to get back on the horse and kick the living shit out of that Twinkle Toast Mahomes next week. My only fucking question this week is for all three of you. If Herbert doesn't start this week against Kansas City, what are the keys to victory against the Chiefs? God fucking damn it, I hate the Chiefs. Burn the kingdom, fuck the Raiders, kick the donkeys, and suck my butt.
Well, that was an impassioned speech there, Tony.
As far as keys to the victory for the Kansas City against the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, you can't turn the ball. So one, we have to turn the ball over. We have to force turnovers on the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yes.
We have to turn the ball over from them. And then we have to control the clock. Like we have in that third quarter against the Steelers, they had the ball 90% of the quarter. We had two 3-and-outs, and that's it. We have to control the clock, keep our defense fresh, and find ways to take the ball away. That's just really going to be it. It's going to have to be you lean on the defense, and we have to run the ball well and control the clock. I think that's it. Those are the two keys.
Yeah. I think that's really it. Just if we can find a way to get the run game going as well, I think that's going to lean into the time of possession. I mean, the run game needs to get going. This last game, what we didn't see what we saw in those first two games. Dobbins getting over 100 yards and a touchdown. There was just no big open opportunities. But Gus Edwards has to have one of these games has to be a Gus Edwards redemption, coming back, being the Gus Edwards we saw at Baltimore, and just being that 1-2 punch with Dobbins. He certainly has been in the first two games. This last game didn't necessarily see it as much, but one of these games it's going to happen, and if it can be against the Chiefs, that would be even
great.
Sweeter. So there you go. Tony Francis, thank you for asking the question, and thank you all for asking questions and Askboltfam. As always, we greatly appreciate it, but I think that's going to do it for this episode of Charger Chat. Any final thoughts, Kyle?
No, Kevin usually has final thoughts, and then I riff off of it. So my final thought is we miss you, Kevin.
Yes, we do miss you, buddy. Hope you're having just the absolute blast of a time. Can't wait to see the sunburn when you come back. But I think that's going to do it for us here at Charger Chat, folks. Don't forget to bolt up, because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hey guys, when the Bolts lose and are feeling down, and you need a hug to turn around that sad frown, give us a call at Mr. Peck's House of Hugs. Lean in with no fear, and we'll whisper shameless positivity in your ear. Embrace this fan's bosom and stretch those arms wide. And don't worry, we'll tell no one you cried. Let us work on changing up your mood. We'll work it out and flip that attitude. With my boys from Charger Chat on the line, we're all dead sexy beasts, and we'll make you feel better than fine. Remember, we are just a call away, and we look forward to making your day. Just call 1-800-EMBRACE for Mr. Peck's House of Hugs. Extensions Mr. Peck, Sexy Huggin', Coach to you too, and Big Boy for you.